It was a warm summer morning in June of 1986 when the Whitmore family, David, his wife Laura, and their two young children, Emily and Jake, set out on what was supposed to be a peaceful lake trip in northern Michigan. They had planned a quiet weekend getaway to Lake Whitney, a remote body of water nestled deep within the forest, far from the hustle and noise of the city. David had just been promoted at work, Laura had finished her teaching semester, and the kids were finally free for the summer holidays. It was meant to be a celebration. The family packed up their small green aluminum boat with supplies, life vests, a camera, and a picnic basket. They waved to a park ranger as they launched into the lake around 10 a.m. That was the last confirmed sighting of the Whitmores. No distress call, no signs of a struggle, just the ripples on the water and a summer breeze that carried their boat out into the calm. Later that evening, when they failed to return, concern began to rise. Park rangers began searching the shoreline. By nightfall, state police were involved. Helicopters flew overhead with spotlights. Boats combed the water. Divers plunged into the lake's murky depths. But there was nothing, no boat, no life jackets, no debris. It was as if the entire family had vanished into thin air. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, theories began to multiply. Some believed they had drowned and the lake had simply swallowed them whole. Others thought maybe they had staged their disappearance, perhaps financial troubles or a desire to start over. Then there were the darker theories: foul play, abduction, or something more sinister hidden in the woods around Lake Whitney. Investigators interviewed everyone, from relatives to locals, fishermen to rangers. One man claimed he had seen a strange figure lurking near the lake that morning, watching the family from the trees. But no one else could verify it. Another tip suggested the family had planned to visit a remote island at the center of the lake, an island that was off-limits due to unstable ground. But again, no solid evidence pointed there. Theories continued to swirl, but no answers came. Time passed. The lake grew silent again. The Whitmore family slowly became a ghost story. Campers whispered about them around fires. Locals avoided the lake after dark. The area that once brought families together was now tinged with unease. Then, in the summer of 1997, 11 years after that fateful day, a severe drought struck the region. Water levels in Lake Whitney dropped to record lows. The muddy lake bed, hidden for over a decade, began to crack and split open. That's when two hikers stumbled across something half buried in the mud near the edge of the northern inlet. It was a rusted, algae-covered boat, green with peeling paint, and a barely visible name printed on the back: Lake Whitney. Authorities were called immediately. As the boat was pulled from the mud, it was unmistakable. It was the Whitmore family's missing vessel. Inside were remnants of their picnic basket, a torn life jacket, and, chillingly, a child's shoe still wedged beneath one of the seats. But the most haunting discovery was what wasn't in the boat. No bodies, no remains, no signs of damage that would suggest a capsizing. It looked as if the boat had simply been abandoned and left to sink into the earth. Forensics combed every inch. The boat hadn't been tampered with, no bullet holes, no signs of violence. The camera they had brought was recovered, but the film inside had long since degraded. Whatever memories it once held were lost to time. But then something even more bizarre surfaced. Around the same time the boat was found, a woman showed up at a small hospital in Wisconsin, over 300 miles away, suffering from amnesia. She had no ID but carried a necklace with the initials EW. Authorities began to wonder, could this be Emily Whitmore, the young daughter who vanished in 1986? A DNA test was ordered. The results came in. It was a 98.7% match. She was Emily. Now 19 years old, Emily had no memory of her life before the age of 8. She believed she had been raised by a woman she called Mama in a remote cabin in the woods. The woman had died years earlier, and Emily had wandered ever since, unable to piece together who she really was. She had no memory of the lake, the boat, or her family. No idea what happened to her brother, mother, or father. Investigators pressed her for details, but her memories were a blur of forest trails, cold winters, and isolation. Authorities returned to the area near the lake. Search teams combed through the surrounding woods, hoping to find the cabin Emily described. But nothing surfaced, no structure, no signs of recent human activity. It was like chasing shadows. The case of the Whitmore family, once thought to be a tragic drowning, was now a cold case riddled with even more questions. How did the boat end up buried in mud miles from the center of the lake? To this day, the answers remain a mystery. Emily, now living under state protection, has undergone therapy to recover her memories, but progress is slow. She still dreams of water, of distant screaming, and of a light in the woods that never goes out. The lake, now full again, sits quiet under the sky, but beneath its surface lies a story that refuses to rest, the story of a family that vanished, a boat that returned, and a girl who came back with nothing but questions. And sometimes, when the moon is high and the wind is still, locals say you can still hear a child's laughter echoing across the water, followed by a silence so deep it drowns out everything else. Not every mystery gets solved. Some are meant to linger, some are meant to haunt. And this one has only just begun.